Do you desire to feed yourself and your family well, but miss the mark more often than you'd like? Do you realize that being more prepared in advance would definitely help you execute, but you secretly dread the idea of a traditional weekly meal prep? If you've ever wondered or wished that there was a way to have the convenience of heat and eat meals without the drawbacks of those traditional weekly meal preps, then the answer is yes. Stay tuned, you're in the right place, because in this video, I'm going to share my personal meal prep strategy with you. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Concita Thomas. I'm a food and fitness strategist. I help women over 40 lose 30 plus pounds and keep it off without diets and without excessive exercise. I've done that for myself and I've done that for many others. And part of how I'm able to do that, both for myself and for others, is to help us get our food right. And for us ladies over 40 with families and dynamic schedules, a big part of getting our food right on a consistent basis has to do with routines and strategies and preparation so that we can execute even on the days where everything goes left. And this strategy will help you do exactly that. So let me give you a little bit of background. So why we're even talking about meal prep. If you know my story, you know that I used to be a competitive bodybuilder in the division of figure. And as a competitor, meal prep was non-negotiable. I don't think I knew any competitors who did not meal prep. No, I'm sure I didn't know any. And long after I stopped bodybuilding, I continued to meal prep because frankly, that was the only way that I really knew how to consistently eat well, because I'd have the foods that I needed in the right combinations at the right time. And so even if I was busy working or doing something else and didn't have a ton of time to stop and think and prepare a meal, I could just grab my Tupperware out of the fridge, heat it, and eat. So that was the benefit of meal prep and why I continued to do it for many years after I competed. However, there were many drawbacks, and I don't have to tell you the time that I used to spend in the kitchen, traditionally on a Sunday, sometimes on a Saturday, preparing all the meals for the week, putting them in individual Tupperware. That was something I wasn't willing to continue to do for the rest of my life, because on the weekend, I wanted to have fun. I wanted to hang out with my husband, and when I had children, obviously with them as well. And the weekends have not become any less dynamic after having children. The other drawback for me was that I am a woman, possibly like you, of a certain age, and I'm no longer willing to heat and eat meals that have been cooked 4 days prior, especially fish. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe that I used to do that, but I did. However, despite what I don't like about meal prep, there's no denying that being prepared, knowing what you need, and having some element of that pre-prepped and ready to go while life is moving fast is a benefit. So here is what I do instead. And I call this meal prep light because it's not the traditional meal prep, but you definitely will have some cooked food in your fridge ready for you when it's time to put together a meal. So the first thing I do in meal prep light is I batch cook meat. That's right. If you've been following me for any length of time, then you know that having protein with every meal is very important. As a matter of fact, if you don't know that, you don't know how to build a balanced meal that will not only keep you energetic and healthy, but will help you with weight management, then I invite you to download my free figure-friendly meal checklist. You can get that at the link below, but that checklist will help you understand why I'm even talking about protein, why I'm talking about the different meal components that I am, and how to build those meals for yourself in your home. So because protein is important, I batch cook that. I find that both for myself and for my clients, oftentimes not having enough protein is the beginning of a world of trouble when it comes to our meals. Hunger, munching in between meals, overconsumption of starchy carbs, you name it, being light on protein sets the party off. And I don't mean the party you want to have. I mean the party that you wake up and regret that you went to. So I batch cook my meats. In my house, we traditionally eat chicken, turkey, fish, shrimp, and we just rotate those. So I will often batch cook some chicken breast, some ground turkey, and one thing that I do is I season it neutrally. Now this is a pro tip. I season it neutrally so that I can transform that meat however I need to during the week. One of the reasons why I didn't like meal prep is maybe on Sunday I thought it would be a really great idea to make Italian-inspired chicken, which may have been seasoned with oregano and basil, etc. But by the time it's time to eat it on Thursday, I may be feeling more like Mexican, and there's no way to transform that meat after you've committed with the spices. So when I batch cook my meat, what I will do is I'll season it with salt, pepper, and garlic, because in this house, no matter which way the food is going to go, whether it's going to be Italian or Mexican or Caribbean, I'm always cooking with tons of garlic. So I know that if I put salt, pepper, and garlic on the meat, I will easily still be able to transform it into whatever I need it to be later in the week. So if that's a batch of ground turkey, I can take part of it later and add marinara sauce and basil and oregano and make an Italian meal. I can take it and add cumin and other spices, chili, in order to turn it into Taco Tuesday. I just have options, right? So I can be agile with it if I season it neutrally and I batch cook. So maybe I'll cook 4 pounds of chicken and 3 to 4 pounds of ground turkey. And in this house, for people who are big eaters, that may last about, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, something like that. And so the first thing is I batch cook that meat. The second thing I do is I batch cook starch, but I don't batch cook all my starch. I do not batch cook pasta, by the way, but I will traditionally batch cook potatoes, whether that's sweet potatoes or red potatoes, whichever potatoes I'm going to make, and I will batch cook rice. And we enjoy different types of rice, not just plain rice in this house. If I want to make a cilantro rice, or if I want to make rice and peas or something like that, that is something that I will also batch cook. Now, those things are not seasoned neutrally, but what they do is they position me to be able to warm up a meat and warm up a starch and be that much further ahead when it comes to getting a healthy meal on the table in minutes. The third thing I do is I use spices and sauces to introduce endless variety. And I hinted at this when I talked about batch cooking the meat. Part of the reason so many of us give up on healthy eating early is because we enjoy the flavors and the just delicious variety that we enjoy when we're dining out and when we're ordering food. If you think of where you live, in a 1 mile radius, you can likely get Chinese and Mexican and Thai and Mediterranean, and that's what makes the food delicious, the spices and the sauces. And when you think of eating healthy, you likely think of grilled chicken breast and bland broccoli. So I bring those various spices and sauces into play in my meals at home so that they're equally as alluring as the meals that I could easily get if I went to dine out or if I ordered takeout. I've got one more tip, but before I get to that, I want to know, what do you do? Do you meal prep? Let me know in the comments. All right, the fourth and final thing that I do to feed my family and myself well on a consistent basis without making it a job is I cook my veggies fresh each day. Remember, I said one of the drawbacks of traditional meal prep is that the food gets old over time. Even if it's not spoiled, it's not fresh and it's not delicious, it's not inviting, and we eventually don't want to eat it. What I have found is that veggies typically are that thing, that component in the meal that if they've been cooked 3, 4, 5 days ago, they really are not inviting. So because of that, I cook my vegetables fresh each day. I do it in a very simple way. I'll either grill or steam really quickly, or I'll just serve salad. And I oftentimes will buy my salad greens pre-washed, so that keeps the meal preparation very quick, but it allows us to have fresh food when it's time to eat. All right, friend, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to go ahead and give it a thumbs up, to subscribe, and to turn on notifications so that you're notified the next time I post a video here. And if you want to hear more of my thoughts on eating for weight loss and how to do this in a sustainable way, then go ahead and visit my podcast. I have over 100 episodes over there. And then if you want to see how I'm doing this behind the scenes on a day-to-day basis, I invite you to go connect with me over on Instagram. I post nearly daily there, usually on my feed or in my stories, sometimes both. And then finally, if you want direct one-on-one support and guidance in order to actually execute not only the food strategies, but the fitness strategies to help you lose the weight and keep it off, I invite you to check out my signature program, Get It Off, Keep It Off, one-on-one coaching. It is the ultimate in accountability, is the ultimate in support. And you and I will be really close. I'll be all up in your business, helping guide you through this process so that you can pull it off. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this, fierce friend. Until next time, stay fierce.